All right, let's start lying on our back. Take your body to the floor. Move your feet out towards the edges of your mat. Close your eyes. Let your hands relax in whatever way feels right for you, a little softness in your elbows. Before you try to adjust, just notice how your breath is right now. And notice where the small of your back is. Is there a lot of space between the small of your back and the mat? Like a big gap between your back and the mat? And if so, can you draw your belly button into spine? Move your pelvis in a way that you just have a subtle shift so you press more of your low back into the floor. And now you're aligning your spine here to the floor. Engaging through the front of your body. Now take a few breaths. Place one hand beneath your belly button. So on your lower abs, lower belly. And see if you can inflate your lower belly as you breathe in. And then deflate, your hand presses down, falls down as you breathe out. Be mindful if your chin is pointing up, like we're doing CPR, bring your chin more neutral so even the back of your neck becomes more level to the floor. Be really intentional here about the breath. Letting your hand be your guide to give you that feedback as you breathe into your lower belly. Exhale, letting your abdomen fall. And if the exhale is too difficult, out your nose, you can take a soft breath out your mouth here. Inhale, exhale. Notice if you can start to become even more in tune. Maybe the word isn't getting better at it, but you're getting more aware. So you're able to control your breath in and out through the belly. Take 2 more breaths like that with your hand on your lower abdomen. In and out. And then breathe in, reach both hands up above your head, reaching to the floor behind you. Palms up, point your toes, reach through your fingers. And then like you're doing snow angels, just articulating the shoulder joint. Keep your hands on the ground as you drag your hands with straight arms down to your sides. When you get there, flip your palms the other way and then push your arms back up as far as they will go. Taking your time here, feeling that change in your shoulder. Izzy reminded us yesterday, motion is lotion, so we move slowly bringing that synovial fluid back into the space. When you have your hands back down at your side, again, you flip your palms. Just make these snow angels, taking your arms out wide, up to the top. And then back down again. One more. And if you forgot to breathe because you're concentrating on your arms, see if you can breathe in as you reach. Exhale as you bring your hands back down. Good. Find your neutral spine again, pressing the small of your back down towards the floor. Draw your right knee up towards your chest, hug your knee gently. Be mindful that your neck hasn't gotten out of alignment, so neutral chin. Gently pull your right knee towards your chest, keeping your left hip grounded. And then gently use your right hand to help guide your right knee open towards the side. I have a bend in that knee, foot is flexed, so that I can get a little bit more leverage here, just opening through the hip. I'm using my left hand to press on my left hip bone so that I can feel the edge of what that hip bone is like and where it is while you're here on the mat. And then using it to kind of, I can't press my body down with just my hand, but I can use that as an intention. Left hand on left front of your iliac crest, that hip bone reminding you to push down as you gently drawing your right knee out. Good. Bring your knee back to center. Support the back of your leg. Take your leg up towards the sky. Point and flex your foot. So I'm supporting through the back of my knee. Just point and flex your foot. And I think doing this slowly and mindfully is important. We get so used to seeing the same things, doing the same things. Even for me, listening to Izzy's workshop yesterday, I love things like that because they spark a new perspective, which no matter who you are, what knowledge you have is always exciting and important. So keep pointing and flexing your foot at the ankle. Good. And then still supporting the back of your knee, bend your leg so that your foot comes parallel to the floor and then straighten. So we're just doing a supported knee bend. Go slow. Bend and straighten. And because we're going slow, you should have time to keep that foot really engaged and tight. And what's happening with your left toes also. So make sure that left leg is alive, pressing towards the floor. And as you straighten your right leg, keep the toes engaged so that when you get to the top, you don't stop with a half bent knee, but see if you can continue to drive the heel up. So you get full extension and length there at the top. Good. And then bend slowly again. And I'm stopping right at that halfway point, which creates tension in the quad and makes me have to work and to stabilize through that muscle. All right, some of you may want to try doing this now without holding on to the back of your leg and just experience the difference now that you don't have that additional support. This bending of the knee is our focus, but this helps us to see, I think, of how important the quadricep is to stabilize the knee. That if we, do you feel the tiredness in your quad, guys? Like you get a little fatigue in this big front of your leg. And I think that that helps you to realize like that's the muscle that supports your knee. So bending and straightening your leg. Let's do 3 more. That's your reminder also to breathe. Take your time and find that full flexion at the top as much as you can. Lots of things to think about because your small of your back is also pressing down into the floor. Good, I'm on my last one. Good, slide that right leg down. It was impressive. It was a little bit tiring, wasn't it? All right, bring your left knee up towards your chest. Hug it in. Letting your foot relax, drawing your knee towards your chest, just getting a good squeeze here. This position helps the small of your back drop down. Make your collarbone wide, take your shoulders down wide. Good, and then support the back of your leg. Take that leg straight up to the sky and point and flex your foot. Notice here if one leg seemed tighter than the other, has more resistance. And if you're pointing and flexing furiously, just slow down. Pointing and flexing, feeling the full extension of your foot. As you flex, really pulling your toes down, pushing your heel up. You've got a good straight leg here because you've got the support of your hands behind your leg. Maybe you close your eyes and you breathe and you just bring your awareness to your ankle. One more. And then keeping your leg up, bend your knee, flex your foot, stop at the halfway point, get long through your right leg, and then let's straighten and bend your left leg. Really controlled, keeping the foot flexed, keeping the small of your back pushing down by really engaging through your abdomen and your belly button, even though you're lying down. Bringing your knee to the bent position where you have a 90-degree and then pushing up through your toe and heels. Take your time to get a good straight leg at the top. Full flexion here, and then slowly control it. If you put your hand on your front left leg, on that quad, you can feel the muscle change as you straighten and bend your leg. Some of you may want to do this now with your hands out to the side, making your leg do all the stability. A little bit more engagement of your quad without the support of your hands. Keeping your right leg really active so that leg on the floor is not just checked out, that leg is helping to stabilize through your hips. And if you're going fast, go slow, bend and straighten. Bend your knee, straighten. One more. Good. Put your foot down. Extend that leg out. Take a big stretch here. Reach. Bend your knees. Put your feet on the floor. Roll over to your right side. Rest your head on your arms. And then take your left hand and just reach it back. So I've got my palm facing towards the way my gaze is going and I'm just reaching back, opening through that shoulder. Let your palm keep reaching till your left shoulder drops to the floor and your hand can come all the way down. So I started on the sideline position and then I just keep my right arm where it is, but let my head and my left shoulder drop to the left. This way my knees are still to the right, big opening through the chest, through the left arm, left tricep, and left waist. Good, breathe. Joe and I were chatting before class started about the miracle of having a garden, because if you stop and think about how amazing it is that we can eat the food that started from a seed and had to grow and endure the weather and ripen, and then it can be picked and it can be consumed. It's really like quite a miracle. Bring your left hand back up. Roll over to your right side. Pause here for a moment and then we'll go the other way. And sometimes slowing down and listening to your body like that is amazing as well. So use this time as we're going more slowly. If you feel like, oh, I'm bored, I want something more, tune in instead and be grateful for all the little parts, the bones, the muscles, the tendons, the nerves, the synapses, the conversation that your body can have without you, and how amazing that is. Bring your knees back up to neutral, feet on the floor. Take your left hand out and roll over onto your left side, resting your head on your left arm. So I'm in a sideline sleeping type position here. Peel your right hand up to the sky. Palm is facing the same direction as your gaze, as your body. And then just start to reach back with that arm. Reach back till your right shoulder drops back down to the ground and your head comes to the floor. So now you're in this deep twist. Knees to the left. Right shoulder to the mat. Gaze to the right. Close your eyes here, breathe. Good. Travel on your exhale. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, roll back over to your left side. And then push your way all the way up and find yourself at a seat at the top of your mat. Cross your legs. Let's take a few rolls of your shoulders here in your seated position. Bring your arms to hands to your knees, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, roll them down and back, and then reverse direction. Just opening through your back, through your shoulders, through your chest, feeling how all of it is connected. Looking for as much range of motion as you can get. So maybe you're just here, but maybe you can take those elbows out and you can really roll all the way around. Good, find some stillness. Let's do a couple seated cat-cows, hands on your knees. Exhale, draw your chin towards your chest and round your back. Pushing yourself back here. Making that space between your rib cage and your belly button shorter. And then inhale, take those shoulders up, down, and back as you lift your chin. Open this collarbone so wide. Lift from the ribs. Good. That's your inhale. Exhale. Make that space shorter so you're tightening up through the shorter space. Belly button to rib cage is drawing together. That's your exhale. Inhale, lift your shoulders up and back, open through your chest. Really breathe in, exaggerate your breath here. Exhale, round. Inhale, shoulders down and back. Exhale, round. Making some space through your chest. You've got little muscles between your ribs, as well as some cartilage. Keep going. We need those intercostal muscles for breathing. So take deep breaths here, filling up your lungs. Thinking of expanding through your chest. Articulating how your spine can bend in both directions. That's the definition of being limber, right? Opening this part of your body that is so important because we must be able to breathe, yet we don't really ever pay attention to this. Good. Come to stillness and make your way to your hands and knees in your tabletop. All right, if you were there with Izzy yesterday in her mobility workshop, she showed an exercise where rather than cat-cow, which kind of takes you through that motion of squeezing the shoulder blades together and then taking them apart, but has a lot more change in the belly. What she asked us to do to strengthen the scapular muscles is to stay in one spot and just think of pushing through the shoulders and then squeezing the shoulders. And so it's a very subtle movement. I think for me, the thing to think about is as if you placed a pencil right here in this small midpoint of your back, and you were trying very hard to just balance the pencil right there. So push up through your shoulders, and that makes your chest really round a little bit, but then squeeze the shoulders together and your chest drops. So it's kind of just like the cat-cow movement, but with less belly and pelvis involved. So here's the cat-cow, right, with the belly and the pelvis, but we're just going to focus on the shoulders. So you push up and round. Push it up like you're puffing up your back, like you're going to push your arms up out of the ribs, and then dropping, squeezing, like you're trying to bring these two shoulder blades together. Like I said, hold that pencil between the middle of your back and between your shoulder blades. If it's hard on your hands and knees, hop up a second. I do think it's a little bit more easier to find the movement if you're right here. You can just squeeze and separate, squeeze and separate. And then on your hands and knees, you get the benefit of engaging the muscle because now your arms are having to work to hold your body up. So now when you push the mat away, you can feel all through this back the connection of your scapula to those shoulders, to your trapezoid muscle across your back. And I'm trying really hard to keep my pelvis stable. So there's, I think it's easier when you start changing through your hips, or maybe for me, it's just muscle memory also. So just focus on the shoulders. Good job. Good. Take your knees apart, bring your toes together. Drop back towards your child's pose. Take your right hand, thread it underneath your left armpit, dropping your right side of your head to the mat and relax here, getting a good stretch through that right shoulder. My right palm is up, breathe. Travel on your exhale, breathe in, and then on your exhale, take your right hand out And then switch. Thread your left arm underneath the space from your right hand, right armpit. Drop the left side of your face to the mat. Breathe here. Good. Come back up to center. Rock your body the whole way forward. Lay all the way down. Let's start with Sphinx Pose. So bringing your elbows right underneath your shoulders, palms to the floor. Lift your chest, but check in that you've got a good stack of shoulder to elbow. So that should be straight up and down. So if you're able to see yourself or feel it's not out in front, allowing all my belly and ribs to relax to the floor, it's right underneath me, like those stone Sphinx Egyptian feet pyramid creatures. Gaze is neutral, so not arching your back too much, looking up and not crunching down, just gently out in front of you. Experience all 10 fingers and the tips of those fingers pressing into the mat, and push through your elbows if you can lift your chest a little bit without really moving your arms. Good opening through your back here. Breathe. Good. If you want more, then push through your hands. You can straighten your arms, open through your elbows here. That seal pose, so you feel that a lot more in your back. Bend the elbows just a little bit. You can kind of go in between, right? So you don't have to go full throttle. You could just get a little bit more lift by lifting the elbows a little bit. Good. Lower all the way down. All right. Let's do our Scapular Angels. So move your stuff out of your way on both sides. Bring your toes closer together and relax. Bring your hands to the back of your head. Forehead is down. Chest is down. All right. So like Izzy instructed us yesterday, hands are behind the head. Lift your forehead just a little bit, but relax your chest. And we reach out and forward, then pulling your arms back, flip the palms, and then rest them so palms are up to the small of your back, squeezing your shoulders together, elbows are lifted. Then go the other direction. Extend your hands out, turn your palms down, bring your hands back together, bending your elbows to the back of your head. Let's do that 5 times. Ready? You go at your own pace. Feel the elbows lift. Feel the engagement through your back. Reach out long, out to the side. Flip your hands. Bend your elbows. Bring it to the small of your back. Pause here. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lifting through your elbows. And then reverse direction. Reach out wide. Flip your palms forward. Hands to the back of your head. Good. That was 1. Oh, let's do 4 more. Ready? Reach out. Flip your palms. Take it to the small of your back. Good. Extend your hands to the side. Flip. Reach forward. Bring your hands to your back of your skull. Reach out to the sides. Palms up. Bring them to the small of your back. Repetition helps us build muscle memory so then we don't forget how to do this exercise. So just really pay attention, experience what you're feeling here. Reach out. Bring it back around. Last one. Moving as slowly as you can. I think that's the challenging part. Good. Take some rest here. Support your chin with your hands. Bend your knees. Loosen up the small of your back by windshield wipering your feet from side to side. Dropping your feet left to right, feeling that opening through your back and your hips. Good. While we're down here, take your right hand out to the side, roll palm down, roll over onto your right shoulder. Option to add the quad stretch, taking your left hand, reaching for your left ankle, gently drawing your heel towards your glute if that's good for you. Letting your weight roll onto that right hip to really open through your right shoulder. Breathe here. Good. Gently release. Come back to center. Take your hand, left hand out. Maybe push off through your right hand, roll over onto your left side. Option to find the quad stretch by reaching for your right ankle, pulling your right shoulder blade back and together, but pressing your left hand down and letting some weight go back so that you really open through that joint. Good. Travel on your exhale. Take a breath in. Move as you exhale. Release your ankle. Good work. Come up to your hands and knees. Toss through your hips and the front of your body a couple times. Maybe wag your hips side to side. And then let's find ourselves in our downward facing dog. Feet hip width distance apart. Lift your knees. Press your heels back. Good. Let your head sigh a little side to side. Maybe your knees just want to bend one and the other when you get here. So do that, but then find some stillness and let's think about our alignment. So all 10 fingers spread out wide, pressing into the mat. Good, Joe. Finding a short enough stance that you feel like your tailbone is pressing high. So if you need to walk your feet in a little bit so that you can drop your heels, they don't need to come straight down to the mat, but you're having your heels driving towards the mat. Good. Drawing your belly in and sinking your chest. So that's going to get you out of a rounded back and into a flat back. So let me say that again. The weight is like I'm pushing my chest down and back towards my knees. If you're pushing your chest forward and center, you get a rounded back. If you push it back through the tailbone, chest pushing back towards the thighs, you get a lot more weight in the feet and you get a flat back. Good. Big breath here. All right. Getting our right foot forward, whether you want to do that from a three-leg dog, taking your right foot up, or stepping your left knee down, step your right foot forward. We're going to step through and stand all the way up. Find yourself in your high lunge. And let's start with our hands on our hips. Good. Right foot is forward and bent on the left toes. If you have the toe issues, I know Izzy reminded us yesterday you could modify into a warrior one. Bear with me because I want to articulate the pelvis, so that's going to be harder to do with your back foot down. All right, right knee bent. So this is a neutral pelvis. I have my hips stacked right underneath my waist and shoulders. Then we're going to take the hips back and then forward. So it's like you're tucking, pushing back. Tuck and back. Good, Chris. Tuck and push it back. So I'm just shifting the weight in that pelvis. This is a tuck, push it back. Squeeze like you're going to get sucked in the stomach, squeeze, push your tailbone back. So it's just a shift at the hips here. Good, Susan. Good. So Joe, think of if you had your feet together, you're squeezing under, pushing back. So it creates an arch in the back even. Squeeze under, push back. Squeeze under, push back. Good. And it's just that movement from the ribs down because we're trying to learn to isolate these hips. All right, couple more. I think hands on the hips are good. It's hard work to concentrate, huh? All right, let's flow. Take your hands up. Open up to your warrior two. Settle in that front knee. Reverse your warrior. Take your left hand to your hip or your thigh. You should have lots of good shoulder mobility now. So reach your right hand up and lean. Sweep it back to your warrior two and flow to your extended side angle. Right elbow to your right thigh. Let gravity help you out here to find some settling. Strong right leg. Your left hand can be on your hip, straight up, or reaching, creating a line from your left wrist to your left foot. Good. If you want a little bit more in the core, pick up your right elbow, reach, support, squeeze, breathe, and then rise all the way back up. Come back to your warrior two. Take your hands down, take your left foot down, take your right knee back. Take a couple cat-cows on your hands and knees. I think when you go slow like this, it helps you to realize where you compensate. You know, you go, oh, like right now, if you say, well, my back is hurting, that's probably because your core is the place that's weaker and needs to be stronger, and then you recruit from your back, right? So then that helps you to realize, like, okay, this is the area where I have to really like just build on the strength. Okay, let's do the other side, guys. Tuck your toes. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Set yourself up in a strong alignment for your down dog. So if you're too far spread apart, you're more like a mountain, like a mound. I want you more like a upside down V with a point. So bringing your feet and hands a little bit closer together. You're not in a fold, but you can get that tailbone up high, pressing your heels down. Letting your chest push towards your thighs. If your backs of your legs are really tight, you can bend through the knees, still having the energy of your heels pressing down. Good. Belly is in. All right, either dropping to your right knee and taking your left foot forward, or lifting your left leg up and then looking forward, squeeze and step it through. We'll all meet in high lunge with your left foot forward. So we'll get there with your left foot forward on your right toes this time. Susan, which foot has the toe problem for you?
My left.
Left. Okay. So this side is easier then.
Yep.
All right. Squaring your hips, put your hands on your hips. And this is where I feel like if you had to wrap yourself like you're a mummy, you're wrapping yourself with toilet paper or plastic wrap, right? Around this middle, all of this has to work together, both the front, the back, the sides, and those little muscles in the hips. So we're gonna do this back and forth again. Stick your tailbone out, squeeze, tuck it under. Articulating this tilt of your pelvis. If this is challenging in your low lunge, option to step your foot forward and just find it. Strengthening through these hips, finding that tilt by having your feet more neutral. That may help you to kind of catch the idea in your mind of how it feels, and then go back with the foot forward. In the lunge, you can feel the engagement of this hip flexor, which is right here, right? You can feel that needing to do some work. And that hip flexor is responsible for us being able to lift our leg. It's this tight, stretchy band right in here. And that hip flexor, when it's weak and short, which happens because of sitting, right, then it's very hard to recruit. So feel that movement in that point where you have the crease in your legs. But we're really thinking also about squeezing the belly in and keeping that contraction as you tilt back and forth. A couple more here. Good. Let's flow. Take your arms up. You're in your high lunge. Use your breath. Exhale, open, settle in your warrior two. Taking your right foot to be parallel to the back edge of your mat. Soften your front knee. Good. Arms are out. Think about your left knee not caving in towards the big toe, but pushing back towards the little toe. So you're getting more opening there. Good, Joe. That's it. Good. Reverse your warrior. Drop your right hand to your hip or thigh. Reach up and maybe up and over, letting your left knee bend a little bit more here. Windmill back. Warrior two. Extended side angle, left elbow, left thigh. Right hand can come to the hip, straight up, or reach long. And let yourself drop into this left knee. So if you have kind of a lift in your thigh here, you've got a lot of stability of your side being able to help you, so you can bend into that knee some more with your feet staying right where they are. Good. Reach through your right hand if it's lifted. Take your left hand up and over if you want to activate your core. You were going there, that's right. Reach here, breathe. Use your whole body, lift up and out and back into your warrior two. Good. Windmill your hands down. Drop your right knee. Take your left foot back. Take a child's pose. Drop your hips back towards your heels. Rest your head to the mat. Good. Breathe here. Take a couple breaths. Good. Come back up to your hands and knees. Take your right foot to the outside of your right hand and walk it forward so that you can set yourself up for lizard on this side. So from a tabletop type position, I'm just scooching my right foot forward till I can drop through my hips here. Use your block to bring the floor to you or to create a landing pad for your head. So you could put your block up high. You could use the block to support your forearms. But the most important thing here is that your knee is not in front of your foot. So this is not what we want. All right. What we do want is foot forward. You could have your knee right over your ankle or even your ankle in front of your knee, but not the knee in front of the ankle. Good. All right, settle down. Your back knee is down. Use your block as a place to support your hands if you need to. You can have that block right underneath your hands or underneath your forearms. Good. Close your eyes and breathe. Let the weight drop more into your front leg, taking the pressure off of your back knee. If you've got a lot of tension, you're holding with straight arms, see if there's any way you can soften, bending your elbows, maybe bringing your elbows to the block. Good, breathe here. I was reminded of this story that I had read at some point. And it was because I was thinking about how you have to expand your potential and your horizons. And it's a story about how in India, they take baby elephants, pull your body back up, take a hamstring stretch, straighten out your right leg, toes to the sky. In India, they have elephants that will stay put in the village and not be wild. And the way that they do that is that when they're babies, they tie them to like one leg to a tree. And then the baby elephant basically fights to get away for a while, but eventually, let's drop that foot back and get ready for the other side. Take your left foot forward and scooch forward into your pigeon on this side. So they tie their front leg to a tree and then they fight for a little while, but then eventually they stop and they stay there tied to the tree. So they're still cared for, but they can't go anywhere. And then when they untie them from the tree, they never wander away. They just stay in that small space. And I was thinking about this because I see like my kids, because of coronavirus, not having anywhere to go. And they're in the very small space. And it's easy after a short period of time to forget that you could go anywhere else, right? Like it's like we're like the elephants, where we get just tied to the thing that we're used to, and then we forget that you could even go do something else. And so physically pushing yourself, paying attention, setting some things up in your house that are challenging, that are within your control. I think it's important that we find ways that we aren't just getting like, we live in a smaller and smaller circle, because you do forget. You forget even what your own potential might be. You forget that there was a part of you that was longing maybe to go be in the wild. We're settling here in lizard on this side, so using your block to support your arms if you need to. Keep your left foot on the floor. This is your chance to tune into your breath, letting your mouth be soft, drawing breath gentle and slow, in and out. Even if this feels physically challenging, you can manage your breath. Good, one more breath. Lift your chest. Extend your left leg straight. You can use the block as a place for your hands if it's hard to reach the floor. Just straighten out your left leg. Take your toes towards the ceiling. Let the weight of your hips pushing back get a big stretch through your left leg. Nice and strong through your back and shoulders here. So being mindful, if you get here and when we're working on the legs, do you just like check out the top half of your body, become a rag doll? We're always aligning. So strong through the back, strong through the shoulders. Good. All right, bring your left foot back. Cross your ankles. Let's make our way down to our back, but do it very slowly. So start in a boat pose with your feet up, supporting the backs of your knees. You may go the whole way down, just taking your knees with you, or let go and just work your core, extending slow as you can, shaking the whole way down. Gently take your time, make your way all the way down to the mat. And set yourself up for your final rest. Let your feet relax. Let your hands relax. Relax your face. Breathe in, breathe out. There is quite a lot that we cannot control or predict right now. But we don't have to be tied to the tree. We do have the access to resources and challenges and choices, even in our own space. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Gently bend your feet or bend your knees, put your feet on the floor. Feel the grounding of the earth beneath your feet. Take a breath. Exhale out. Gently take your arms, reach them up towards the sky, and then back up above your head. Energizing from this time that you spent really tuning in, like we were the seed beneath the ground today. We didn't have to be flashy and blooming and full of vigor and fruits, but we were doing the work behind the scenes to make us be able to be brighter. When you're ready, roll over to your side. Make your way to the top of your mat. Bring your hands together at heart center. With gratitude for each of you sharing your practice, your intention, your energy today, I thank you and I acknowledge the light in each of you. Namaste.
Namaste.